And congratulations to Corey Goode. I almost had you there, right? We almost had you there. Me, Dark Journalist, Bill Ryan, Richard Dolan, Cliff High. Walter Bosley. We almost had you nailed to the fucking wall. But thanks to the works of Unirock, I guess you've got it out. We'll get you next time. You fucking douchebag deluxe. You and your fucking girl.
I almost had you there, right? We almost had you there.
Excuse me, Corey Goode, you dumb piece of shit. This is how ignorant you are. You know, you should fucking be scared of me. Start practicing s***ing because prison is the next place that you're going to be.
For those of you that don't know, and many of you don't, Joe from the Carolinas had a live streamed hit piece done against him literally a day or two before he was doxxed. This happened while he was interviewing Teresa Yaneros. I would love to show you this video, but I can't. It was privated by, take a guess, CW Chanter. In this video, which many of you remember and luckily was discussed on Reddit, CW attacked Joe, called him names, yelled at him, flipped out, and it's reported that Groovy Bean attempted to calm him down until Joe showed up. He was mad at Joe for getting an interview with Teresa, and this wasn't the first time that he had flipped out on Joe. He started calling Joe, quote, a perfect little baby angel, over and over. Joe is a nice guy, and after he finished his interview, he went to CW's live stream after hearing that CW was angry to defuse it, and he invited Teresa. CW started being two-faced. After he got what he wanted from Joe, he started being nice to him after realizing that he would bring Teresa on the stream of CW's. But this all led to something very shocking, very uncomfortable, very slimy, weird. CW made a comment about Teresa's panties. I'm using that word because he did. She had stated that she needed to get all of her stuff together after everything that happened and get serious about her show and life using the phrase, quote, I need to put my big girl panties on, and then she went on. CW immediately chimed in with, can you send them to me after? Or something to that effect. The entire live stream was shocked and everybody in the stream went dead quiet. Other live streamers that night talked about it right after it happened. For one, everybody went quiet on the stream, like I said, but people in the chat started bouncing into other people's live streams, like mine, and telling the chat and me what had happened. In all, it was very embarrassing for CW Chanter. And it went to show that him attacking Joe for interviewing Teresa without him was a good idea, and that he should have been avoided the entire time. But CW took this in a very personal way. Like he didn't say anything inappropriate or make anyone uncomfortable, which he did. I can tell you firsthand that Teresa was extremely uncomfortable because of this. She was creeped out, and everyone involved was very upset about it. Even CW. He went offline and immediately privated the stream so that no one got the clip. But on Reddit, it says this. CW Chanter can get into some deep thoughts, so I like listening to him. He makes me think. He can also get a little slimy, like when Teresa Yaneros came on in her interview talking about needing to put her big girl panties on, and CW said, can I have some or something? Now, this is the only place you're going to find anyone talking about this stream, and he needs to unprivate this stream and let the world see what happened. Even fans of CW started calling him slimy and looking at him much differently after all of this. Me bringing this up makes a point that everybody paying attention to the situation should already know. Much of what has happened in this story has been hidden and changed so that the general public can't get the full picture. So let's stick to very obvious things, and I'll make a very specific case for why I think that CW and a group of people are likely the people that doxed Joe, not Corey Goode. When doxings occur, they are usually done by people for emotional or irrational reasons, like any crime. What do we know about this situation, though? There was someone angry at Joe. That was CW Chanter. That anger was magnified after Joe tried to fix the situation because CW ruined the stream. And any chance that he had to interview or speak to Teresa again was ruined. I have talked with CW many times, and I know that he never takes accountability for things that he does wrong. And I know that he blames everyone else for his problems. So if I combine three things that I know that are facts, and I know this because I lived through it, I can make an extremely logical case for the doxing of Joe by CW and his troll group, his friends, his troll group. Number one, under CW, CW was very crazy after that stream, 4 days. And 2, he did blame Joe for what happened. And 3, Joe told CW Chanter his name and occupation literally just days before he got doxed. He called and told me this himself, and he will back me up on that. My point for the first stream was to show the community and CW Chanter's followers that the screenshots were misrepresented to them. CW even admitted that the first night that we talked. The second night, he wanted me to explain what I'm explaining to you right now, but he knew that I had to ask him some questions first. We talked about this before both streams. I was even very specific to Zen that I wanted to be able to ask CW questions so that if we were going to do any type of debate, when it was over, when we finished what we were debating about, I wanted to ask him questions and then I'd make my case for why I think what I think. We talked about this all before both streams, and I was very open about this on Periscope leading up to it. I will admit that I did have a few ulterior motives in those two discussions. I wanted to prove that CW has a legion of harassers that do his bidding, and they did in that chat room of the discussion and on Twitter. I also proved that unspirituality was chosen for reasons other than being neutral because he was cited, and I'll do a full video on that sometime when I feel like it because I recorded every single interaction that I had that had to do with the debate. I told everybody beforehand that I was doing it. I let people know when I was recording and told them if they didn't want to be recorded, they could peace out, and they chose to stay. That gives me permission to do it. But this moves into another one of my main points of this whole thing. Let's take the two most logical people that could have done it and compare them. CW, underneath CW, he was angry at Joe days before. He was told Joe's name and occupation days before and was the one person out there using the situation to grow an audience and fuel his shows, knowing that it was disrespectful to the victims of the docs to do this. Corey Goode had just finished a movie that was on the top of the documentary slot on Amazon and made a huge amount of money from it and was busy with all that entails. Interviews, on many different channels, all the red carpet stuff, just everything that happens from the movie. This alone should be enough to consider CW as logically the most likely person who did it or asked somebody else to do it. But I'll go into many other reasons that will back up my side of things.
You're the one who does dirty deeds. You're the one going down on this one, bad boy. And that's it. That's it. That's what I need you to understand. That's what I need people to understand about what's...
CW Chanter has made so many statements that ended up coming true in this situation, like the clip you just heard that he said on November 1st, days before Joe got doxxed. Also on Twitter, as I was trying to show Saturday, CW not only accused the good supporters of being doxers and harassers, ironically, so did a lot of CW's mods and followers. But he accused Corey Goode himself on the day of the dox of being behind this with Roger Ramseur. Then he did many streams literally blaming Goode for the dox from November all the way up to February before DOXXGATE. It is likely that he can see the future with all of his Twitter predictions. They came true when Joe got doxxed, and all the stream predictions came true when Kelly brought him the screenshots. He's just the luckiest guy in the world and can predict the specific actions of Corey Goode. Another massive point is a stream that CW Chanter did with Kelly just 3 weeks before the February DOXXGATE video. He and Kelly talked for 3 hours, never mentioning a single thing about the screenshots, but talked about Goode a lot. So I ask you to consider two options. Either Kelly brought CW those screenshots, CW read them and inferred that Goode did it with no reason to, as we showed Saturday when we went over the screenshots and he agreed with us, and then they did the DOXXGATE stream. Or Kelly interviewed CW in February. They got close to each other. She showed him the group on Facebook Messenger where she had been talking to Joy, and they built the narrative of DOXXGATE to frame Goode. You already know that I believe that they framed him. The most damning part of this is that during the debate, CW admitted that he did not have enough evidence to prove that Goode did it. But he did many streams saying that he did all the way up until the debate, and then, after the first one, came back to the second debate a week later, changing his tune, acting like he proved his case, which wasn't true, and he admitted to it. You can't admit that you didn't have the evidence to make the accusation and then 7 days later turn around and act like that never happened. A testament to the narrative that is there, not the truth. The next point I'll make is showing you that this is not an innocent doxing, implying that Goode did the dox without being able to even logically make a case is indicative of an external motivation. So is there anything that happened involving Corey Goode that could be a valid reason that he would be blamed? Well, yes. He had just left Gaia. Many podcasters that interviewed Goode had just started interviewing Gaia's new Corey Goode named Jason Rice, and it wasn't working. Corey Goode and Wilcock, of course, were responsible for the most paid subscriptions to Gaia and the most viral story that drove people to pay the money at their website to watch their video collection. After Wilcock and Goode left Gaia, there was no one there that had that kind of pull. They started to see a lot of the people that signed up to watch Goode and Wilcock canceled their subscriptions. Why do I think that this is relevant? Well, I'm not saying that this happened, but after seeing the amount of propaganda geared either for or against Goode and Wilcock, I have a strict opinion that while not provable right now, that it is very probable that Gaia would attempt to replace Goode with Jason Rice, take the podcasters and YouTubers that are contracted to Gaia, in my opinion, Jimmy Church is one of them, and force them to replace Goode with Rice. Is there any circumstantial or implied evidence to this? It is my opinion that Jimmy Church interviewing Rice a month before the dox, Rice's story being a full-on copy of Goode's story, and Jimmy Church deleting the podcasts of him and Corey Goode all show different strange actions that can be explained with my theory. While it is only a theory, and it is not something I'm going to say I wholeheartedly think happened, I'm making a case that it is very possible that this happened over what CW says happened. But even more so, it looks this way. It looks like this happened. More to this, is Kelly Farmer the screenshot queen? Does she have an allegiance to Jimmy Church, along with Chanter getting pictured, hugging him in Contact in the Desert of 2019? Yes, and that picture could be as Chanter ironically described it, him just stalking Jimmy Church for a picture to make fun of Church or whatever, but it could be a celebratory we got him kind of picture. But even more than that, every podcast that Kelly and CW went on has a strange allegiance to Jimmy Church, like Mysterious Forces Live. Go look at her content. Also, on Kelly Farmer's channel, she says that she worked for Jimmy Church, taking money from his patrons to buy t-shirts. She literally took Jimmy Church's fans' cash, so it's Jimmy Church's cash, into her hands, handed them a shirt, and then advertised Jimmy Church. That's working for him. So she worked for his booth for the entire weekend and stayed at a hotel and drove an extremely long distance to do this, all at her own expense. Bullshit. On her channel, she admits to going to Jimmy Church's parties. Now, these are parties that he throws for his closest friends, not fans, not people out in the community that want to come. Literal, real life friends. Got me? And she claims and states over and over many times that, quote, she is best friends with Jimmy and his wife, Rita. My argument isn't that Jimmy Church wanted Corey Goode to look bad and made this happen. My argument is that many people wanted Goode to look bad at this very moment, and it is possible that they could have made this happen. Who is they? Gaia, a podcaster, crazed fans, anyone. We don't have evidence to say who. My question I'm positing to you is broken down into this for this point. We all know that companies use these kind of marketing campaigns to try and corral viewers where they want them. When Corey left Gaia and stopped being interviewed by Gaia aligned podcasts and YouTube shows, those people would have a vested interest in making him into a criminal or at least look bad, because as it stood, all those people were financially damaged after David Wilcock left. One more thing. We all know how well the Above the Majestic documentary did. You can just tell by looking. So why was there a narrative coming from all of these specific people that I just mentioned that Goode was losing popularity and money? It wasn't true. The opposite is provable easily. But I'll tell you this, if this group was trying to make him look bad, they would want to inject a narrative that he is in financial trouble. He's not. He's worth $20 million. And that the doc was a big part of his success around that time. My next point is a major one. I'm putting it here near the end because I know that unbiased people will make it this far, and the trolls will most likely be done with their comments by now. And trust me, those trolls will be there. Slide down and look. Kelly and CW this entire time have had the option to go live and show many, many more screenshots. They could just show everything that group said going back X amount of time, and that would either back up or deny their claim. After seeing the way that they have behaved in attempting to spread false narratives, lie about me and Kev Baker, and lie about anything really they need to lie about to make themselves look good and others that criticize them look bad, I have to default to the reason for her avoiding pulling more screenshots, which is something I would have done days after DOXXGATE or immediately when people started calling CW and Kelly a liar. Think about it. Their whole claim is that they can prove Corey Goode did this with the group, the screenshots that they have. Well, I'm proving that when pulling those screenshots, the group was closed from then all the way to now, or it would not be in the bottom right-hand corner of these screenshots showing right here that the whole time they've had access to an archive of the entire conversation of the group. It has to be there if they are telling the truth inside the group. Well, the reason they are trying to make this a null issue is to avoid hashing this out with real evidence. It is obvious. There is no real evidence of any of it in the group, and if that's not enough to tell dark journalist Cliff High and the others involved that CW and Kelly are liars, slanderers, and that they will literally frame someone with a crime to try and get viewers and donations, then I'm sorry, nothing will.
Thanks to you. Thanks to you, genius. Thanks to you. Corey Goode, Jordan Sather, David Wilcock, they all have an out when it comes to this quote-unquote DOXXGATE where they went after Joe from the Carolinas. Hey, and check this out. If the FBI are involved and you screwed something up real bad, I don't know, maybe I'm going to get questioned, maybe you're going to get questioned. Who the knows? Congratulations, Unirock. And congratulations to Corey Goode. I almost had you there, right? We almost had you there. Me, dark journalist, Bill Ryan, Richard Dolan, Cliff High. Walter Bosley. We almost had you nailed to the wall. But thanks to the works of Unirock, I guess you've got an out. Ooh, we'll get you next time. You douchebag deluxe. You and your girl. Touching on your bum. I'm going to follow you home. I'm going to never leave you alone. Little gremlin, worse than the devil. Little gremlin, he's here with me now. You! Go home! If you care, you have reason to want to see Corey Goode and David Wilcock taken out of the picture. I confess my sins to the man upstairs. I say when I'm a liar. And I say and I admit that I've lied. And David Wilcock should know I'm going to see all of y'all, just like me, suffering through the trials and tribulations of life, working a friggin' day job. began initially, and I will admit this because I'm not trying to lie to anybody, to trick anybody. I considered myself part of the lineage of Aleister Crowley, L. Ron Hubbard, Adidas Samraj, that I thought that I was going to purposely create something that looked like a religion, smelled like a religion, and talked like a religion, so that I could achieve an end. And the end was so that I could have sway and control over people, so that I could make money, so that I could use female bodies, and I could abuse men who made me feel like less of a man. The Emery Smith interview is conducted by Kelly Farmer of Explaining Esoterica. I first met Kelly when she contacted me and wanted to conduct an interview with me. I am upset because yet again with Kelly Farmer, we see an issue where I work with someone, I associate with someone, I feel as though I helped someone in a mutually beneficial relationship, and then I turn around and that individual has got other plans and other agendas. She appears on Jimmy Church's channel on Fade to Black when he does the Conscious Life Expo redo. Recap. And who comes on? Kelly Farmer. And they joke about Blue Eagle and the fact that Blue Eagle wasn't there and his name wasn't mentioned but one time. They talk about Blue Eagle, they talk about the no protest, and she laughs and she's joking and she's having a great time talking to Jimmy Church. Remember, me and her had been in daily contact, talking about everything under the sun. And she doesn't mention my name. And he doesn't mention my name. He had mentioned my name before, but for some reason, all of a sudden my name is not said anymore. Why? I texted her. I said, "What?" I said, "What's going on?" I said, "I just saw your appearance on Jimmy Church, and what?" And she was like, "What'd you think?" And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" She knew that she hadn't mentioned me by name, and so I said to her, "I said, well, what do you think? What do I think?" And then we played this fucking cat and mouse game, which is what she does, where she doesn't fucking communicate. She forgot. And I want to say something. Remember when Unirock said that, some of this stuff, like when he did the appearance with me on my channel and we're talking about Joe from the Carolinas, but then he just forgot because he's always going on. He's always going on so many broadcasts. And I said, that's some bullshit. I said, if you were able to forget that magic moment, I must be a forgettable dude. I was under the impression, based on my bombastic character, based on my excitement and energy, based on my sense of humor, based on my wacky good looks, that I was somewhat memorable. Apparently, I was wrong. Apparently, I'm very easily forgettable. And so after that happened and I wasn't mentioned, it's one thing if Unirock steals my shit. What does Unirock fucking owe me? I said to him, bro to bro, man to man, you didn't properly credit that story, and you said a lot of stuff about this information being generated by you when it wasn't generated by you. Giving them what I'm seeing. I'm giving them what I want. I'm playing a part, right? He goes, listening to you talk, I feel like I'm listening to a young Adolf Hitler. I want to talk about manifest destiny. And you want to talk about me always knowing where I'd want to be, or maybe always being a narcissistic sociopath? According to some.
according to a lot.
At one point during the interview, looking at the Rorschach blot test, I'm Hannibal Lecter. I'm in psychiatric evaluation. What do I see, doctor, when I look at this ink blot?
Now that's actually reductive ad absurdum. Just saying.
Is it? Or is it the brain in the jar philosophical question that's been around, pumping around campuses amongst people for decades?
No, it's actually equating your false use of Occam's razor as the brain in the jar. That is massively reductive ad absurdum.
I respect you as a human and as a